Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
Long time no see.
I'm telling you.
Especially you, Greg, man.
It's wild. How you guys doing?
Are you well rested?
Getting there.
Good deal. Awesome, man.
Pure madness.
Well, the title of this video here is "It's Cold Outside, so let's talk bees." And I mean, I still say, no matter how cold it is here, you guys have got us beat down here pretty much in the wintertime. So, Greg, how's the temperature where you're at? Is it as cold as it is up at Brian's place?
Brian usually has me beat by a couple degrees. This morning was minus 13 actual. I don't know what the wind chill was, but it's cold. This is going to sound ridiculous though, but there is a certain stillness and quietness and peacefulness when it gets so cold that when you open up the door to go outside, like there's not really a nice way to, like a clean way to say this, but when you step outside and your boogers freeze immediately, like your nose everything just freezes, your nose hairs just go click, like they're like ice shards. Like the second you open the door, it's cold, and then when you step outside, everything just has a certain, like a hard freeze.
Yeah.
There's something beautiful about that. I'm not gonna lie. There's something so still, so quiet, that forced, nearly immobilization of things. I kind of like it. Not gonna lie. Gonna lie.
Brian, you're really cold. I see you created some of your own snow this morning.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Last week I mentioned it, and a couple people said, "Oh, you can't do that," and blah blah blah, this and that. But the key to it is you have to have boiling water.
Okay. So why is that important? Will it freeze before you even throw it if it's not?
No, I don't know exactly why. I think it has to do with how it vaporizes, but I don't know.
I think it's the energy particles, the actual molecular structure of hot water versus cold water. The energy is moving, right? And then so when you throw that up there, it's just like if you and the reason I say is I can remember this from like elementary school. One of the kids had a project, which freezes faster, cold water or hot water? And it was hot water freezes faster than cold water in that test. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos where they put a bubble out there in that really extremely cold weather and it kind of gradually, slowly freezes. That's pretty cool too. But it didn't get that cold here, but I know I actually started this right here. Brian, I'm sorry, said it was fun watching all of our southern friends awestruck by the snow. It's just, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's awestruck. It's just so strange. We've had a few, like over the years. We may have like an ice storm every like 10 or 15 years down here where it gets icy, or we get some dusting of snow on occasion to where there's some flurries but it usually doesn't stick because the ground is never cold enough. And so usually, the ground is warm. You know how it's hot, it's warm and cool here off and on all winter long. So the ground never gets really that frigid cold temperature. So the snow will stick usually. And the last snowstorm that I think we had where it accumulated like this, I want to say it was like 1973 this far south. They've had some fairly good snowstorms up north of us, up in Birmingham and places like that. But down here, it's just been so rare that it sticks like this, and it just looks like a beautiful winter wonderland out there. But we've had the kind of a perfect storm, no pun intended, of cold temperatures, and then this front just moved through right across us down to the beach down in the Panama City area. They got snow.
It's crazy,
and it's just really. And then it kind of went up, and up in North Alabama, they didn't have this. It was down here in the southern part of the state, and so and across, you saw the videos of Joseph Rawls and Mike Berry and others over there in Louisiana, and it came across Mississippi and then marched right into us and then on over into Georgia. And we had Ken Libwitz, who is the Alabama State Hives for Heroes rep. They had I think he said in Babby, Alabama, which is probably 75 miles west of here, something like that. It's west of here, but they had 11 inches. It's due west of me here. It's over between Opp and Andalusia, Alabama over there. So it's pretty wild stuff.
Yeah.
But, I went out. I've got a video. Last night I couldn't get my stuff to work quite right for editing to get it edited, and I've got a video coming where like some of these big comments, Brian.
There we go.
Boiling water cold because the water molecules move faster and closer to their evaporation point. The cold air can't hold as much water vapor as the warm air, so the water condenses. There you go. Just leave it to just someone. Yeah,
exactly. Here we go. Let me see here. No, okay. Here we go.
But
okay, now you see that there? Watch this. I was playing with some. This is some visual effects today. Watch this. Oh.
Oh.
Look at that.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That was wild.
Wow.
Yeah, so go to Brian's YouTube channel and check it out. He put up a video today, and you did a short as well, didn't you? A reel or something where you showed it as well. But
I did a short, but that's just for a video that I'm editing.
okay.
I was messing around with reversing and doing different stuff. So
it says I'm getting ads during the live stream. I'm not sure why that would be, Lisa. If they're on there, I am sorry. I did not mean to do that. I'm not sure how I did that. Guys, anyway, back to the cold story here. So yesterday afternoon, I was at work, and we left. They sent everybody home early, and I went out and I did go to one of the bee yards out there, and the snow was accumulating. Shot a little video footage there, and then got home. But here, the difference here and up north, one of the big differences is we are not prepared down here for these cold snaps. I mean, we just don't have the equipment, don't have the product to put on the roads to help melt the snow and the ice. And so this morning we woke up, and literally out there, it's just beautiful, but there was a layer of ice. It was like in the teens this morning when we woke up. And so there was a layer of ice underneath the snow, and just extremely treacherous to drive. But by about 10:30, 11 o'clock, the sun came out, the snow started to melt. And I was able to make it into work for a few hours. By the time I came home, the roads were mostly dry and doing well. There are a few patches that were in the shade that are still a little bit treacherous, but I think it's going to be okay from here on out. But it was absolutely beautiful. It's just a lot of fun. I got some video of my grandkids out there playing in it, and I wasn't there, but they were out over in Fort Novosel over there doing that, and just a lot of fun. And everybody out here it's just like kids in a candy store. I lived in Utah for 4.5 years. And out there, it's not a big deal. It's still kind of, for about a week, it's kind of cool. And then it's like slushy and nasty. And it's kind of, fresh snow is really nice. And then after a few days, it gets pretty gross, as you guys know. But it's not a big deal when you live out there. But down here is such an unusual thing to happen. It's been literally 1973. I think I was 5 or 6 years old. We had just moved back here. And it snowed and that's the last time I think we had a major snow. I was all upset because we used to live in Washington State, and it snowed up there, and I was all worried that it wasn't going to snow. They told me it wouldn't snow, and then the first year we were back here, it snowed. So, but I think that was kind of a similar storm. This may have even been a little more. There may have been more accumulation. I don't remember, but that's a long time. 50, 51, 52 years.
Yeah,
since it snowed like that. So it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And Lisa says it was a powdery snow she's seen here. Like I say, we'll get like a little bit of if it's enough snow to stick, it'll stick for just a little while, and it's really wet and kind of icy. And then by the next morning, it just melts off almost immediately. But we had right here in my house about 6 inches. So it's pretty cool.
Basically how this happened, I can tell you. There's always like that. There's been a division between the North and the South for many, many years. And what happened now with this storm is it's us Northern folk. We are sharing with the Southern states. And we've always been told sharing means caring. So we simply just wanted to say, here you go. Here is some of the fun that we have. We care about you, so spend those moments playing with your children, go sledding, have fun.
Yeah,
that's what we did.
All right, Lisa, I'm on here. I think I have just I think I've just fixed the problem. I don't know why it was putting ads in there during the live stream, but that's not what I wanted. So
I haven't gotten a single ad. I have it on my other screen here. I haven't had an ad.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Anyway, it says YouTube insert mid-roll. Anyway, I'm off of it now. I just wanted to. I went in and I made it so it won't do that. I don't think. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it did that. I know that you can set it up that way, but I didn't think I did. But anyway, we should be good. Should be good to go now. All right. So I guess obviously this time of the year, as far as beekeeping goes, not a lot going on up there where you guys are for sure. Down here, we're just a few days away. I actually have some queens ordered to come in middle of February from our friend Zach over in Hawaii, and so I'm going to go ahead and make just like I did last year, some early splits to get some hives going, get some bulk bees going, get some numbers up, and then I'll work on some other things later in the year. But he's got me.
External revenue service.
Well, no, we kind of thought it was kind of fun down here, but I know you guys don't think it's special up there. So, but Greg, to your point earlier, you mentioned how how peaceful and quiet it is when it's cold like that. Rain has its own calming effect, but one of the things I like about snow, and once again, people up north, I know you're just laughing at us down here in the south over this thing, but you got to understand. You just got to understand, people. Just be patient with us. It's just like just one example today, like the roads kind of it was still in the 20s, but the sun out, the roads started to melt and the snow did, and there was water. So I was able to get to work. Well, our big boss over the entire department, he went in early this morning. I think it was a little precarious for him. He used his son's Jeep. And then another one of our leadership team went in just before I did. He came from Wicksburg, which is out west of town, and there's a hill coming in. The county roads were not in very good shape, and he actually was on one of the main roads, Highway 84, and he almost got in trouble in his two-wheel drive pickup truck going up that road. He made it, but it was precarious. Once you got on the Dothan city limits, though, it was a little better, I guess, because more people have been trying to drive. But then I made it in really without any trouble. And then we had one more therapist that showed up, so we were able to get some patients seen. But it's like everyone else was just like terrified to leave their neighborhood, like scared to get out. Even after, by the end of the day, the roads were basically clear in town here. I think in the county they might still have some issues. And so it's just a whole different deal down here. So you can make fun of us. I get it, because I've lived out there in the snowy conditions before, but it's a unique and a very interesting thing. But as far as the bees go, I hope we get into our normal pattern where it warms up in February a little bit, and I can actually do some splits and get some queens in these hives, because I've got them ordered now. So that really gives us a big head start. If you can get mated queens early in the year down here, you can typically really get a head start on your season, and that's what I'm going to try to do. Really kind of repeat my pattern from last year. It worked well for me for my honey crop. And then there may be some more things coming in the future that we may talk about here on the chat a little bit as time goes on. But
nice.
That's kind of where I'm at. As of a few days ago, when I looked at them, they were looking really good.
Yeah.
If you see my video where I put the Hive Alive in there, I put some more in there this past weekend, and the colonies look just like that. A lot of them were maybe not quite as strong as the ones at Athens Farm, but very close. And I really, really think that whatever I've done leading up to this winter, whether it was getting mites under control, feeding a little bit more than usual, and then using this Hive Alive foam, and then doing the oxalic acid vapor treatment throughout December, I think is really, the bees have looked really good, probably as strong on average. Of course, there are some weak ones that may not make it through this cold snap, but probably on average the strongest they've ever looked at this time of the year. So we're about to see what happens in the next few weeks, but I'm pretty excited about it. Brian, what have you been doing in the cold season? Anything, building equipment, bottling honey? I know you've been making some hot honey. What all have you been doing in this time frame? Anything at all bee related?
No, I mean, like in the last week, it's just been too cold. I don't even, like, my building is not heated. So,
oh gosh, yeah. Okay.
I don't even want to go over. I mean, when you're, in negative temps, I'm not going to go out. Now, today I did drive over. I took my thermal camera just to check a couple things, and then I used my endoscope just to see if I could spot any bit of a cluster. And man, I got something in my eye. And I saw one. Now, like the endoscope, it doesn't like, it's not like a scope what you're going to have in a hospital where it moves and does all that. It kind of, just the end will kind of hook. And I saw in one colony, it was one of my larger ones, where you could see the bottom of the cluster, and you could see them kind of just sitting there, and about every 2-3 seconds you'd see one of them kind of shift. So where normally when I would put that scope in there, they're moving and all that kind of stuff, they were tight, and you could see, I mean, literally they were just tight, hanging there. So they don't, like right now when it's this cold, they're not doing anything. So,
what do they call that state they go into when they're barely moving, if any at all? What do they call that?
Is it
torpor? That's right. Greg, what about you? I know you've got a lot. Your business never stops completely. What have you been up to, and what are your plans over the next few weeks?
Well, right now we're getting kind of we're kind of back from the Bee Expo, and they've kind of regrouped from all that and getting everything set up and staged for the next, several kind of events. Last night had the honor of speaking to our local bee club, the Fairfield County Beekeepers Association. So shout out to all the FCBA folks who listen to the stream team. I got to go visit with them, talk about queen rearing the easy way. That was a lot of fun. I always enjoy talking about that. There's never enough time. And I'm kind of guilty of, I want everybody to know all the things that we've learned the hard way, that I sometimes try to just jam too much information into that allotted time. So I get so pumped up helping folks, especially with all the things that we've learned the hard way. So it's always a lot of fun to be able to share what's special to us with other folks and help them get a little further down the road. So that was last night. We're getting ready to turn right around and leave to go up to the Wisconsin area for the Midwest Honeybee Expo, and that's a really cool event. Google, you can maybe we can find the link in there too. But that's going to be a lot of fun. The whole stream team won't be there this time, maybe next year, but I'm looking forward to going up there. And they invited me to come up and speak, and I thought, well, what would be cool is, I've got a bunch of different talks. That's no problem. Like, I could do that. But I thought, man, I kind of looked at some of the folks that were going to be there. And I thought, man, how cool would it be to kind of use that time to put a panel discussion together. And then so what I thought would be really cool to do is I put together a panel of folks. Michael Bush. You got a lot of folks know Michael Bush, the practical beekeeper. That's a matter of fact, we got our start with beekeeping really from some of those books, some of those ideals, and our beekeeping has changed a lot since then. But that was a part of our journey. So I wanted to put a panel, a wide, diverse panel together to ask the question, to treat or not to treat. Is that even a question? An honest look from all sides. So we've got Michael Bush coming in from the small cell treatment free side of beekeeping. We've got Ian Stepler is going to be there in person. I've got him on the other side of the spectrum. And then kind of, smushed right in the middle is the one only Mr. James Lee from Michigan. And he's I wouldn't say he's treatment free. He's definitely not a treatment per se. He's somewhere in between. And that's what I really am looking forward to, is talking with these guys in a non-confrontational, non-judgmental way. It's not about finding right or wrong. It's actually to kind of to get into the some of the things that are maybe not often talked about, better understanding the context and the whys, better understanding some of the chinks in our own armor, with the ultimate goal is getting everything moved in a more forward direction, a more positive scenario for the beekeepers and the bees themselves. So I'm looking forward to being the panel moderator on that talk. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're getting ready to leave for that. And then the following week after that, Bruce will be coming down and seeing a bunch of folks in Alabama to deliver a bunch of Endura Hive wax tipped equipment. That's going to be a lot of fun. From there, the weekend or the week after that, we're back on the road again to St. Louis to the EMBA workshop. You guys check that out too. That is going to be so cool. A lot of great speakers: Bob Benny, Natalie Summers, the Summers family will be there. The list goes on. Great vendors will be set up there as vendors, capturing content, things like that. And it doesn't stop. It just goes from one thing to another. We got some local conferences, Tri-County here in Ohio that we'll be at. We'll be speaking at some other bee clubs here in Ohio. So right now is like where we're getting all of the speaking engagements for the rest of this year lined out, scheduled, and there is no downtime. It's all prep, and then it's really, really cold outside. So there's nothing we're doing outside with the bees, but mentally, however, I'm dreaming and like setting up queen yards, and I'm setting up all the things in my mind, and I'm actually getting really pumped up about it, Bruce. I start thinking about package delivery season, like right now on our website, naturesimagefarm.com. We've got you can now go ahead and place your orders for packages for nukes. That's live on our website. So when I start thinking about those things, answering phone calls, talking to folks every day about those things, it gives me, I always stay pumped up. I always stay fired up because every day I'm talking to somebody new about either bees or equipment or how to help them along. It pumps me up because I get to see guys like Brian Zavada of Flower Street Farm. Get to see him here shortly at the EMBA conference. It's just, man, we say it all the time. Bees are the conduit to the people. To me, that is just, I'm so grateful and thankful that God's put us in a spot where we're using honeybees and equipment to reach folks, to make that connection, to make a positive difference in the lives of others. That's where we're at. So right now, Bruce, it's a lot of prep. It's a lot of conference prep. It's a lot of just business things, just getting things, as one might say, dialed in. See what I did there, Brian? I did just get a video out, just popped it out today, a shenanigans, just on full alert, a walkthrough. And I should have put a counter in there, Brian, like how many times we say dialed in. We should count that, but I did just put that video out, and it is just I put a little disclaimer in there, like warning, humorless viewer discretion advised. Like if you're not a fan of sarcasm, if you're not a fan of guys just joking, cutting in on each other, like this won't be for you. But we're just walking, like it's so cool when I watch it because it's almost as though there's not even a camera there. It's just like there's a bunch of buddies just walking around just being knuckleheads, right? And the camera happens to be there, so you're catching a little different side of it. It's a more intimate side of the just busting each other's knuckles and things like that. It's a lot of fun. I got another great one I'm working on now, short story long with Tom Sosman. I'm kind of in a fired up, pumped up, ready for the season. Just trying to get in those healthy routines now. And Timmy Colbert says, "Sounds like you're dialed in, Timmy." Feels like right now we're really dialed in. What about you, Bruce?
Guys, one of these days I'm gonna be a member of the Cool Club, the Cool Kid Club, like you guys. I'm gonna get one of those dials one day.
Oh, still Bruce, so close but so far away.
Just don't.
Doesn't anybody stay in?
I could even look at this. There's even one that has a Castle Hive.
I just don't even have one of those things. You guys always whip them out.
Unbelievable. It's like two ships passing in the night. You walked past those like a million times. If I would have known that Bruce, I would have. Oh, we're gonna have to send. We're gonna send a limited edition one down for Bruce. We're gonna make sure Bruce stays dialed in, right, Brian?
I could 3D print one that's just like massive.
Are you saying he's old and has vision problems, Brian, or what are you trying to say here?
No. I mean, if it's going to be limited edition, we could do that and put it on a big chain. That way, Bruce could walk around and he could represent.
Well, I just want one I can use when I start trying to make queens.
Yeah.
So anyway,
send you one.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. One of these days I'll get one. I just, like I say, like Greg said, I was there at the conference and I just never actually got one or, whatever. But that's
right
okay.
there, Bruce. Ask and ye shall receive, brother. You could have had one very no problem.
Yeah.
See,
tell you what, remind me. Well, I'll see you next week.
Michael got my reference there. He got it.
Flavor Bruce. Oh, see, I'm picking up. I'm a little slow. I'm just a little slow. Look, everything's moving a little slow. You should have heard of my truck this morning. It wasn't plugged in. It's a diesel, and at minus 13 degrees. I turned the key, the glow plug light went off, and it started, and it was just, and then it catches and goes. But that's kind of what I felt like this morning.
I have a diesel story. My truck is in the shop right now. It's just,
oh no,
it's a nightmare. So I don't have a truck, but my mom told me I could borrow hers, and it's an old diesel. It's like a 2000 whatever. It's old. It's pretty old. So you got to plug it in. So that thing this morning, I had that thing plugged. I didn't end up driving it to work because I was a little worried about the roads. So I drove. It's a rear wheel drive as well. It's not a 4-wheel drive. So I drove my wife's car to work, which is front wheel drive. But anyway, I just cranked it up. I wanted to start it, get it, just make sure the engine got warm and everything. And that thing, I had it plugged in and everything, and it took it forever. It's just, I hate having to do that. So I'll be glad to get my truck back that cranks right up. And
what's wrong with the truck? What's wrong with your truck, Bruce?
It had we thought the transmission was out, but it actually was the rear differential. Hopefully that's all that's wrong with it. So it's at the shop, and they're waiting to get the parts to get that done. But it's been actually, so this is a little bit of I don't know if I've told this story. I don't think I have. Apparently, if you guys didn't know what was wrong with it, but the conference, at the tail end of the conference, we know anyone who was there and many who weren't probably know there was a big winter storm moving in. Mm-hmm. And I drove my wife's car up mainly because of gas mileage, and I didn't have a lot of big items I needed to buy. So my truck is, of course, a gas guzzler. So I drove her little RAV4 up there. And the night before, two kind of semi-miraculous things happened that couple of days. Number one.
That was great. Keith, that was timing's everything. That was a good one.
But anyway, so Brian, we were eating dinner the last night of the conference, and Brian showed me the projected models, and we saw where the big ice storm actually was coming in between Louisville and Nashville. And I was originally going to move the next morning and get on the road and head home, but I went ahead and left that night, made it to Nashville and avoided that storm. Well, that Sunday morning, I was in Nashville and a phone rang, and my wife said, she told me, she said, basically your truck broke down on me. So I was like, well, that's great. She had gone and done something that morning before church, and on the way back up the hill, just less than a mile from my house, the truck just kind of ground to a halt, made all kinds of weird noises. She pulled off the side of the road, and it was stranded right there. And we thought it was a transmission because when you put it in neutral, engine sounded fine, put it in gear, and it made all kinds of weird noises. So that was kind of a miracle that I didn't get partway up to Louisville in that truck and have that happen. It may not have made it very far, but anyway, or I may have been in Birmingham or north in Nashville or something. And so it was a little blessing. I hate that it happened to her, but that's just one of those little, I call them a tender mercy, where these are things that really, you could deal with things, you could figure it out otherwise, but things just kind of work out almost like you're being watched over, and it's just kind of a little tender mercy. So it's somewhat of a little miracle. I thought that was kind of a cool little story. But anyway, so yeah, you were asking me a question earlier, Greg, and we kind of got sidetracked. I don't remember what it was, but
it was what is your favorite color?
Blue. So now what have you got?
What's the joke? What is your mission? What's the three things from Monty Python?
I can't
remember. What is your quest? What is your favorite color? And what is the airspeed velocity of a something?
I don't remember that movie. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
That movie was hilarious though, but it was popular when I was in high school. That's been a long time ago. Anyway.
I can't remember what the question was, Bruce.
Okay.
Looks like Puff the Magic Dragon?
Well, Eli, since Tara is not here, he's decided that right now is playtime, and he's bringing me toys.
I've got someone else mentioned a commercial. Eddie, I'm sorry, man. I don't know why it's showing commercials. I thought I had it set up not to do commercials.
I got one too, but it was only like a 5-second, and I could skip it.
So okay, just skip them. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm not sure if it's something new YouTube's doing or what, or I need to just check my settings to see what's happening. So I apologize about if there's any ads. Retiring Working Man, I get ads all the time. Is that on live streams, Retired Working Man? I don't know. Unload to swallow. What is that?
There it is. Steve Amos coming in with the reference. An unladen swallow. European or something. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't.
This is good. This is going great, guys. This is what people are paying the big bucks to be entertained tonight, is by all the just references.
So I guess a good thing we could do, guys, is we could have, if you have questions, this would be a great time to ask them. Just put them in all caps, and we'll try and answer questions as we go along. It would be a great time to do a Q&A. But maybe we could talk a little bit about, and I know we talk about some of this as we go along, as far as like what the plans are for the upcoming year. All of us, I think, probably have shifted our thoughts, everyone in the comments as well, as we kind of have evaluated our last year and how things went and what we have in the future. Things we might want to change, things to do differently, or growth or scale back or whatever that is. So why don't we kind of go around the horn and just kind of discuss each other's goals in the beekeeping realm, what we want to do in the next year. I think that sounds like a good idea. Brian, why don't we start with you? You're on mute, Brian.
He's done this before. It was on purpose.
Not as often as I have.
He's building tension in the room, Bruce.
It's tension in the room. Yes. Well, I tell you, I need to start out my year. I'm going to scoot down to Greg's place. I've got some boxes that are ordered. And my plan of what I have with some of those is I basically, both rows that I have in my apiary, they're just going to be solid. It's just wax tipped equipment. Just getting rid of all of the other. If I have any that I've used any other type of like paint, anything on, they're getting put to the side. I'll probably keep them just if I need. And I apologize there for the dog going.
Get it, Eli. Get it, Eli.
He's. I was trying to grab him because Tara has this candy cane outfit on him. It looks like he's ready for Christmas, but he wants to tear it up.
Your dog has outfits?
Oh, don't even get me started. Yeah.
Oh my!
If I could grab him, I'll show you. Yes.
Eli, come here. Let's see it.
So, but no, I'm going to get solid all waxed equipment. And when I spoke the other day at the Columbia and Mahoning County Beekeepers.
Oh, nice.
That's
a great group of folks.
Yeah. One of the points that I made, because I was just talking to them about kind of things that I've learned through the years. And one of the points that I made to them was like standardizing equipment. And it was good because they had like 6 or 8 brand new beekeepers there, folks that have not even gotten their bees yet, don't have the equipment yet. They weren't sure what to get. They've got bees ordered. And I was just talking about standardizing. So I'm just going to kind of keep going with that plan as far as standardizing across the apiary, getting all my equipment the same across the board. I probably am going to go to around 20 or so colonies, 20 to 25, I'm thinking. And if I sacrifice a little bit of my honey flow to bust out colonies and expand, then that'll be something that I want to sacrifice. I still want to have, a couple colonies that produce, but I want to expand out. And I've already, I talked to my wife about it. I told her 2023, when I got up to 21, it was a little bit it was different. I wasn't used to it. I kind of didn't have a plan for it. I just got to that point, and then it was like, well, here it is. This year, I've already got a plan set for it. So I see hashtag Brian32, but that's what I want to do. I want to get to 20 to 25. I still want to like kind of keep that relationship that I have with the bees. So yes, there will be times I go over and just enjoy a couple colonies, you know, but then there's going to be other times where I go over and it's going to be like, you know, it'll be like I'm going to Greg's place. It's okay. I got to get this done. Let's just get it done. And then I'll just, you know, swoop through the apiary and get the work done. But I think with what I know for right now, it won't be as difficult as what I think to run 20 to 25. You know, I'm home all the time. It's just I'll probably need, instead of going over once a week, you know, I'll probably have to take probably 2 times a week. I'll probably have to schedule and go over. So that's all. I'll just add an extra day where I go over and take care of stuff. But it'll be fun. You know, I'm looking forward to it. It's almost like you grow a little bit as far as your knowledge, you know, and with only like 8 colonies, I almost feel like I really don't have enough, you know. It's just weird. I just have that sense where this isn't enough for me. So whether it's someone else telling me, hey, you know, here we're going to give you a little push, whether it's just somebody giving me that slight little nudge and says, you know, here, move yourself along, get yourself 20 or 25 colonies. That's what I'm going to do. So I do need to get over very shortly. Like when I went over today, there's some things in my bee room over there that I need to clean up. I want to scrape some frames and do things like that, but it is just too darn cold to do it right now. So, but like where we're at up here though, Bruce, I still have February and March, you know, so I've got 2 months yet probably where I can get that work done. So, and we're after today, like over the weekend, we're going to have 31. So next week I saw we have a day where it's going to be 38, 39. So, you know, I'll get the stuff done and I'm looking forward to it. I just, I'm going to stay focused where I'm at. And probably the only thing that I'm going to play with as far as just to kind of tinker, because we all know I like to tinker with things. I got a couple packages ordered from Greg that I'm going to just kind of jumpstart things. You know, you get those a lot earlier than what you could nukes. So one of the only things that I think I'm going to play with is I'm going to put a package of bees into that hex hive.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'll be cool, yeah.
That 3D printed hive. Now I ordered some frames and some foundation from Greg, and Greg was probably wondering, he's like, why is
I saw that
like 10 foundation and like he was probably like, this doesn't make sense. He's ordering like a pack of foundation and a pack of frames. Now I got the frames for my simple comb. So I've got that. I can get my simple comb together. But then the other foundation, I bought it so that I can cut it and fit it with those hex hive frames. So I'm going to get that all set. And that'll probably be the only thing that I tinker with. But I don't think that the hex hive, I think I'm probably going to be pleasantly surprised. Simply because if you look at that thing, how it's set up, it mirrors almost like a stump, like a tree. You know, the size of it, it is like this. Like it's a lot larger than what you think. Like the log that you had at your booth, Greg, you could fit that log down through that hex hive. That's how big it is. So it's got a pretty decent sized cavity. And I'm just curious. I'll tinker, you know. So, but that's it. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I know what I want to do. I'm making the moves now just to get the equipment and stuff there and set and ready. And it'll be a good year. I think it's going to be a good year. So
sounds like it. Hey, we got a bunch of questions that have come in. So why don't we address some of those and then we'll roll back into what Greg's got planned for the year. Let me pull them up here.
You got it, or you want me to?
I can probably do it. Just when they unstar them when I'm done, so they don't stay in there. The first thing is Brian, and someone mentioned this earlier. We may have even shown this earlier, talking about the water that evaporates, turns into snow. He said boiling water evaporates in cold air because the water molecules move faster and are closer to their evaporation point. The cold air can't hold as much water vapor as warm air, so the water condenses. Though you were talking earlier, for those who weren't on here, about Brian did a video. He's got a short of him taking some hot boiling water and throwing it up in the air, and it just basically turns into ice and snow immediately. It's really pretty cool. So if you get a chance to go watch that, that'd be great. Russell, I think you showed this earlier, Brian, but Gulf Shores, he was right down here close to, I think Gulf Shores is right.
Oh, your audio
cut out there. Nope.
Something happened. I don't know.
There you are.
You got me now? But Russell Koopman says he went to Gulf Shores, that's real close to me here, to find some groceries this afternoon, and every Storm restaurant was closed. Finally found a gas station open to buy a few snacks. Bunch of wusses down here, and that is true. It's everything. I mean, I was driving home from work today when I worked a little bit, and a lot of the restaurants, there were some things open, but a lot of stuff was closed too, and it was not too bad this afternoon here. So after the big snowstorm, what we call a big snowstorm. Here's a question that he's put in here a couple times. They put in a couple times for Greg. Will you be doing 8-frame copper dipped boxes, Greg?
Yeah, we will. Yep, we'll have so the Copper Dip Plus for folks who haven't seen. There's been a lot of little short videos and things kind of coming out. We'll have more information out on that later. But for folks that don't know, we've set the standard for high quality wax dipped equipment. We've now raised the bar with our line of Copper Dip Plus boxes, which is the way that we're infusing copper for one extra layer of antifungal protection, and it just happens to look really, really cool. It adds kind of a rainbow walnut gun stock kind of a look to the box. So it's got a beautiful patina to it. That equipment, that appearance and that extra added function of that antifungal protection, those boxes that will be available in all of our standard offerings. So it'll be available in both 8-frame and 10-frame Pura and Propola boxes. So we'll have that available in 8s and 10s in both the Propola and the Pura. So stay tuned a little later on this spring, and that'll be available. Right now, we are taking pre-orders on 10-frame Propola and Pura with the Copper Dip Plus. So you can go right now to the website and get on that. Those are coming in hot and heavy. So so you can check that out, nature'simagefarm.com.
I saw those boxes at the conference and I was like, oh my goodness, they're just beautiful. Anyway, thanks for answering that question, Greg, and thanks for the question. Hopefully that took care of it for you. Let's see. Lynn Hughes, a local guy here, just about an hour north of me here. And Greg, I'm not sure if he's. Wait a second.
I'm clicking. I got click happy.
click.
So Lynn up here, there is an Alabama conference. They do a conference in the fall and in the spring, and that's what this is. It's up in Clanton. That's up right between Birmingham and Montgomery, and it's on February 1st. Tomorrow, the Spivak will be speaking.
Oh wow!
I think this is the one that maybe the ABA, Alabama Beekeeping Association, does in conjunction with Auburn, I think, but I'm not sure. I've never been to this conference before. I'm not even sure what the acronym is, but
wait, anyway, that's Saturday the 1st?
It's the 1st, yes.
Well, I'm going to be in that neck of the woods on the 1st.
Look at Greg. I could see the wheels are just turning
right now. Oh my gosh, that's great. Oh anyway, man.
If you want to drive on, it's about,
which way is that? North?
It's north. It's about 100 and let's see, 100 and Clanton is 150 150 miles, 140 miles north. Is it that far? Somewhere. It's north of Montgomery, between Montgomery and Birmingham. So yes, it's
so back the way I'd be going home probably anyways.
Yep, that's right. So anyway, but Marla, I think is real good. So that'd be awesome to, yeah. Did we have her on one of our? We interviewed her, didn't we? Did we interview her?
We did. Yep.
Yeah,
I got to spend some time with her. Yeah,
she's a propolis guru, right?
She's now retired, but she has spent literally decades, her and her team, researching propolis before it was cool. They did all the research and have just decades and decades now of studies. And now a lot of the folks that are doing that work, like Dr. Mike Simone Finstrom at the USDA Baton Rouge Lab, several others on that team that are doing that, and they're finding some incredible things out about propolis. They're connecting all of the dots and are showing that there is incredible health benefits to colonies that have a greater propolis envelope, and so it's really cool stuff coming out about that. So, and Marla is just, she is just, gosh, I don't know I don't know how to quite say it, but she's just a beautiful person. She's just, she's meek, she's humble, so smart, always wants to share, and she's got a great personality. We did put a video out not too long ago, maybe a few videos back, with her talking about propolis and the importance of that from last year's conference. And I've got another video with her that I sat down with her to talk a little bit more about that at a different time that I hope to get out to. But Bruce, I didn't know that. Yeah,
I didn't know either, and I usually don't attend that one. That's I'm usually pretty busy then. I've only been to one Alabama bee conference. That's almost embarrassing to say, and that was this past fall. I went to the ABA conference, and I'm not really sure exactly who's putting this one on, but I do believe Auburn is involved somehow, and I'm not sure if the ABA is involved in this spring conference as well.
Well, Bruce, we got to make some decisions here.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be in your neck of the woods on Saturday, are we working bees at your place Saturday, or are we going to a conference?
I was hoping we could. I'd rather work bees personally, but that's bad for me to say maybe. But I want to.
Maybe we can spend Saturday cruising down through some of your bees, and maybe an outsider's look at who's doing what. And maybe I'll say, "Oh my gosh, look at this! You should be grafting from this one," or I don't know. But if anything, just to see what you're up to, and be a different eyeballs on something.
Whatever we do, I want to hang out with you. I think it'll be awesome. Beekeeper Symposium.
So what I found here is it is the 30th annual Alabama Beekeeper Symposium, Saturday, February 1st at the Jefferson State Community College Clanton Conference and Performing Arts Center in Clanton. Cost is $45. That is not bad at all. Lunch and refreshments are included in the registration cost.
Yeah, it's a really good facility too. That's where we did the ABA conference. It's really nice. They've got a nice auditorium there. It's really nice. So Alabama folks or other folks, if you're interested in coming, may want to check it out.
I'll throw that link in.
Hey, Brian, look up if you can, look up Clanton, Alabama. Look up the water tower, the peach. Look up the Clanton, Alabama peach. It's pretty cool. There's a water that Chilton County, Alabama is known for its peaches, kind of like Georgia's known for its peaches. And they've got a water tower there that looks exactly like a peach. It's one of the most incredible painting jobs on a water tower. It's really pretty cool. You see it, Brian? Is it popping up?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's amazing. You drive by and it looks like a humongous peach right there. It's not far off the interstate. Show that to us.
So there was one that
check that thing out. You see that, Greg? Look how much that thing looks like. It looks just like a giant peach. It's pretty cool. So there's a little trivia for folks up north or wherever. If you've never seen that, there it is, the Clanton, Alabama peach. Lynn, thanks for the information, Lynn. Hopefully some folks will be able to show up to that. I don't know if I'll make it. Greg will be in town, and whatever I'm doing, Greg and I will be hanging out that day, hopefully. But it
sounds like it's going to be bee sting therapy.
I think. Well, maybe
tell
not
them girls
as bad
to calm down. Tell them to calm down.
Maybe not as bad. Maybe not as bad as it used to be.
Yankees coming down. Be nice.
Yeah. Hey, I sure appreciate the super chat from Pat at Freedom Apiaries. That means a lot. That really helps the channel and helps keep me motivated to keep putting these things out. I certainly appreciate that, man. And Brian, of course, thanks so much for the super chat there, dialed in. I will once I get my dial one of these days. I'll be able to dial it in then. I can't dial it in until then.
It breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely breaks my heart.
Let's see, Brian, good question for you, man. How is the master beekeeping course coming along?
Well, so Amber, it's coming along. I'll just say that it's coming along. I kind of hit just with the holiday season and just with everything up to this point here. I've been so busy that I haven't been able to do any of like the online courses. I do have like there's a certain number of points that you have to accumulate though from speaking events and like assisting at like fairs and things like that, discussing bees. So I'm like on par as far as that. But just I need to just spend probably a good month where each evening I spend like an hour or so just going through some of the courses. Once I start, usually then I'm good, but it's just I've been so darn busy lately with work and things that I haven't had time. But I'm still like I'll just say I'm still on pace to finish within a year. So it's going pretty good.
Brian, I haven't been flagging questions. I hope you've been doing it because I haven't had a chance to. I can't do it all.
I've been watching.
Okay, good deal. All right, next question. Lynn Hughes, once again, Lynn up here just north of me in Ozark. And this is for us people in the South, we're not used to all this snow stuff. And so he says, did you do anything to protect your bees from the snow we got? Lynn, I did not. I just went out there and just kind of did a little video, shot a little video yesterday afternoon, but I did nothing to protect it from the snow. I feel like here, no longer it's going to be cold. Now we are going to be in the teens. I think even pushing maybe even 10 or 11 degrees tonight. It's going to be low teens tonight, at the warmest probably. So, but I think even so with a nice cluster of bees in the hive and plenty of, what they need to get through this little cold snap here, they should be fine. I know some people may have been out there wrapping hives and stuff, but you got to remember folks like Greg and Brian up there north of us where it gets way, way colder, don't always do a lot of this wrapping of the hives and stuff. So I think they're fine. And I had some people say I needed to remove the snow from the entrances and things like that. I think, just no more than a couple days. They're probably already melted, honestly, after today. So I don't think it's a big deal. But, I don't think it hurts if you want to do that. But personally, here in the South, I don't think it's ever going to get cold enough, long enough to really need to worry too much about that. As long as you have a good cluster of bees that can keep themselves warm and the resources they need, should be okay without any trouble. Would you guys agree with that? Greg, what do you think?
Sometimes I don't know. I just, I see questions and I wonder if I'm just a bad beekeeper. I guess I don't worry about a lot of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
The stuff that I worry about is the stuff that's like, for me, critical. If we were like in Fred Dunn country, and there was like feet of snow, right? And there were, what's the concern with snow being blocking the entrance? Is it like they're not getting enough oxygen? Is it they're building up too much CO2? We use a lot of CO2 with queens to knock them out, and several times. And that is an awful lot of CO2. And I don't even think you can come anywhere close to that inside of a colony. So I don't think CO2 is really an issue. The lack of, here's what I guess what I do is I don't do anything. And what is kind of not really like a good litmus test, but when you get a couple inches, like most of our colonies are all on 4-way pallets, right? So you're talking about, you got some 5/4 board runners on the bottom. You've got a 3.5-inch 2x4, okay, and then you've got some 3/4-inch HDO decking on top of that. So you're looking at what is that? 3.5 plus 1.25 inches, about a 6-inch ledge, right? So when we get snows over 6 inches or we get drift, then our entrances are kind of closed off. And it's not a great litmus test, but it tells you right away which ones are dead. Because when there's no snow melt at the entrance, they're goners, or they're just really, really, really small. that can happen too. So for me, it's like I don't, don't worry about the biggest thing is I try, we try to have all of our 4-ways set where the entrances are actually facing north and south, so we don't get any of the constant western wind into it. We try to place the wintering yards where we've got western, if we can, north and west protection from the bees for the heavy wind, from those nor'easter type winds that come through. But I guess I don't really worry about the snow. I guess if you wanted to, it's not going to hurt anything to go out there and knock the snow off the entrance, I don't think. But snow also is an insulator. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the concern is just with the cold weather as much as anything, the snow, maybe the entrance will be blocked or any other reason. Bottom line is I didn't worry about it. I didn't have time to get out there and fool with it. And we have gotten down even for very brief periods of time in the single digits here since I've had bees. And you put the old stethoscope up to the side, or you just kind of bump them a little bit and you hear them buzzing just fine in there. And then a few days later, it's warm enough and they start flying. And I think good, strong colonies will just plow right through without any trouble. Brian, you got any thoughts on that?
When I went over today,
and you're talking like negative, like 15 degrees, right?
Yeah. Cold. When I went over and looked earlier today, now I've got a number of the Apame bottom boards that have that white piece that comes down, so it creates a ledge. Okay, so set aside from a regular bottom board, you have what is it, Greg? Probably 5-inch or so white kind of platform right out front. So regardless of how high it is, snow accumulates. Every single one of those, you could see like there's a little channel right out front where it's almost like bee space, and you could tell where it's melted out. So like I don't worry about it. If there's an excessive amount of snow and it is like really built up, I'll take a hive tool and scrape that. But like today, I only did that to one hive just because I wanted to put my scope in. The others, I looked down and I'm like, they're there. So
yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that's
a good question. Good question. Okay. Oh, look at that joker. Look at that. That's too cute.
That is one spoiled dog right there.
Isn't he all decked out?
Look at him.
He sure is. Man. What a champ. Brian Mader says, Bruce, are you selling any spicy queens this year? Brian, the answer to that would be no. I'm not planning on selling any queens this year. Not yet. I've got to figure out, first of all, how to raise good, healthy queens and make sure I get them through a season or two before I start trying to sell queens. So, and I don't want to sell any spicy queens. I don't want any spicy queens. I want to.
What if somebody wants spicy queens, Bruce?
Then they can order from some of the companies out there that we probably all know of.
Or I come down to your place and we cage up a bunch of spicy queens.
Yeah. My queens are, honestly, they are getting better. There's still a few that are pretty bad, but overall they're getting much better. Just a little plan here. Peter Moore says his plan is not to get overwhelmed by his bees this year.
Yeah,
good luck with that,
that's a
Peter.
good plan.
It's a good plan, but sometimes tough to fulfill. But anyway, it's good luck with that. I hope it works out for you. Russell Koopman says, had some southern gumbo with okra and stuff, and it was quite good. Hoping to find some more seafood before I leave. Well, if you're down there in Gulf Shores, if you're in Gulf Shores, Russell, you could probably find some seafood once everyone digs out of the 2 inches of snow down here. It may help you a little bit. Or whatever. I think it was maybe more over there. I'm not sure what it was, but anyway.
But you guys had the thing about that is I know you're laughing, thinking people up here are laughing, but the first thing that I say when you guys get that is like you're not set up to remove that, and if you have that for several days in a row, like you're literally shut down because you can't safely go anywhere, and you can create major problems. Sure. You create accidents, and EMS and things have troubles. It is just.
Well, the danger is the snow itself is not the danger as much as once that snow begins to melt and then it freezes.
Then it freezes again at night.
Then that's when the black ice and stuff happens. And we had some just ice sheets on the roads this morning early, but then it did kind of melt off and the sun was out, and even it got up in the mid 30s, but a lot of the roads are dry now. If they were in the sun, in the shade, and bridges are still pretty icy, but everything else is pretty good. So
yeah.
Question here from this gentleman. He says, anybody know a good tutorial to start beehive keeping when you're in an apartment complex, or am I out of luck on that? I really don't know if there's a way to. I mean, I think that really would depend on the apartment complex. Most apartment complexes probably would not be too happy about you trying to do that, I would imagine, unless there's a little spot off site where you can kind of do maybe some woods off on the edge of the, or something like that. But I think you wouldn't do it any differently than you would anywhere else in a highly populated area, maybe up on the roof or something. I don't know. But my guess would be most apartment complexes, you would just have to talk to your manager about that. And then just make sure that you follow any guidelines they would put forth to you. But, or if you have a friend or know someone that lives off site that has some property, that would be a better option. That way you could go visit your bees and not be right there where there's so many people. But I know people have them. You see pictures of people in big cities and in big buildings that have them like on their porch or some things like that. But I would just make sure that wherever you are, that you discuss it. If you want to try it, I would run it by your apartment complex to make sure that you don't spend a lot of money on equipment and bees and then end up not being able to have them or getting kicked out of your apartment.
I saw a video. It's been a couple years back, and it was a gentleman in New York City that had a couple colonies on a rooftop. I don't know, like, as far as permission and all that type of stuff, what he had to do, but like Bruce said, check with the building and all that stuff. If nobody's ever up on the roof, I would imagine the roof, that might be a location. I don't know.
Yeah, that would probably.
I would say is rooftop. Look up some rooftop beekeeping.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to be more appropriate, probably.
Yeah, right.
Brian's get the gadget, man, Mr. Gadget.
Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen the movie Ice Age? Brian is the squirrel in Ice Age right now. He is all over the place.
No, it's Eli is bringing
keep Eli happy.
Oh, is that Eli's?
What do we have there? Is that a hippo or is that a?
It's a.
It's like a pig with horns.
It's got a Santa hat.
I've never seen a pig with horns.
Those are its ears.
You guys are.
Well, the ears are under the horns, aren't they? I need a dial so I can just dial you guys in. Come on, let's dial it in, Bruce. Here we go.
I'm pretending I have one of those fancy dials.
There we go.
I'm sitting here and I feel this stuff, and he's like pushing it on my feet. And I look down and there's a pig.
Yeah, I got you. Brian out at Flower Street Farm Bees says his goal is not to grow this year. Wish me luck. Good luck, Brian.
That's way harder. That's way harder than
it is. Once you know how to keep them alive, it's hard not to grow. Sometimes I would think
that is like probably the first opportunity to start getting into selling nukes is to start thinning yourself back. Good opportunity there. A lot of work, but good opportunity.
We have the questions just flowing in. Brian, I am 227 comments behind, so I hope that you're flagging some of these. I'm not sure how many more we're going to get 14,
to. But there's still 14 left. So
good. All right, we got a question here from Eddie Bishoner, I guess you would say. I am expanding this year or plan to. I have to paint 130 boxes and lids. I have a paint sprayer coming to help speed things up, but I haven't figured out how I'm going to paint the top and the bottom. Are you talking about the boxes themselves? If that's what he's talking about.
Probably the top and the bottom, the top cover and the bottom boards, probably.
Okay.
I think you just maybe paint them and then flip them over or hang them.
Yeah, paint them, let them dry, and then flip them. Hanging is a great idea too, but yeah, it's just going to take some time. Maybe. It's going to be, with the spray, it'll be quicker, but it's still going to take some time, and you're just going to have to.
You'll still need a couple of coats. I think if you're going to spray, because you just don't get it on as heavy and doesn't seem to.
We have I have some friends that like Tyler Walker that he actually copper dips his boxes and paints them, and he has cinder blocks set up out by his shed out there, and he's got a sprayer, and he'll just go out and he'll stack his boxes up. He kind of staggers them, and then he'll spray them, and he'll just do a couple of coats, and I'm sure he has some sort of a system for doing the lids and bottoms too. I'm not sure. Well, he uses pallets, but as far as the lids, I'm sure he has some sort of a system as well. I'm not sure what he does, but great question. If there's anyone who has any ideas on that, maybe just put it in the comments how you would do it. Maybe help him out a little bit.
I'd find somebody who does wax dipping if you can.
Yeah.
Bypass the paint altogether.
A question here from Dennis Sherrill. Do y'all think the bees will be fine if they have a screen bottom board in the snow? I don't know if he's from the south or not, but that's a good question for wherever you are. Screen bottom board in the snow. What do you think? I don't have any screen bottom boards, so I'm not sure.
Dennis is just up north of you. He's going to be one of the stops delivering some
awesome
equipment too. So shout out, Mr. Dennis. I mean, here's the facts. The facts are in Ohio, for whatever reason, beekeepers are still using screen bottom boards. I don't know exactly why. I don't know that they know exactly why, other than they heard about it once and somebody once did it. And I think it goes back to some methods and things of the 70s and 80s. The biggest thing to consider is, I mean, heat rises, cold air sinks. In the wintertime, I don't think the snow is going to hurt that one bit, especially Dennis, where you're at. You probably got, I think he's about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of you, Bruce. So he probably got a couple inches.
Dennis, where are you from? Are you from Alabama or are you over in Georgia?
No, he's Alabama. I think it's, is it Montgomery?
I've probably talked to him. I just lose track of so many people. Well, great.
Yep.
Well, if he's,
I wouldn't worry about it.
You stopping by his place, or is he going to come down and meet you?
I know, yeah. We're going to stop by his place on the way down, unload his first. Yep. Yeah. So Dennis, I wouldn't worry about the screen bottoms in the snow.
No.
Where the screen bottoms really were a problem for me, which is why we don't use them anymore, is Ohio Springs. You know, when we were getting our first rounds of grafts or making splits on the equipment that had screens. They seemed to get too cold at that early time of the year. So we switched to solids and had no problem. So I wouldn't worry about it a whole lot in your neck of the woods, Dennis.
Yeah, that's kind of I've never used them, but I just don't use them. So
yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let's do a couple more and then we'll maybe move on to some other commentary. Let's see. We got Freedom Apiaries, Pat. Brian, are you using Apame bottom boards with your wax dip boxes? You may have answered that earlier, but
yep. Yeah.
All of them?
I've got a good number of them. I think I've got, all but like one or two over there right now have the Apame bottoms on. So
Greg and Brian, why don't you guys briefly take a moment for those who are not familiar with, I mean, many people are familiar with Apame boxes, but more like just kind of maybe the kit that you sell, Greg, with the Apame bottom board. This is different than the ones that go with the Apame system in that they are adapted for wood boxes. Can you kind of explain briefly what these are, these Apame bottom boards, and why someone might want to use them?
Look at that. Brian's dialed in. Look at this.
I think he had that pulled up before we started. He's so fast.
No, I didn't.
Brian is quick. I put together these graphics here just because folks always had the question. But what I like about my personal favorite components of the Apame system is really the lid, the feeder, and the bottom board. Like the insulated hives, that's important for a lot of folks. For me, I like the tops and the bottoms to be able to offer that. It's a great companion piece with the wax dipped kits. So what we've done is it's our premium hive kits. It's Apame's bottom board, which is really nice because you've got the entrance reducers, those sliders built right in there. Okay, and it already has a built-in mouse guard. So those little nearly half circle, 3/4 circle holes, that's the entrance for the bees, and mice aren't going to get in that. So it's a beautiful way to restrict your entrance for robbing, open it up, but it already has the built-in mouse guard. So that's like the front features of that thing. You have the big landing board, and you can flip it up and turn a little dial and lock it in. But this is where the Apame bottom, this is where the upgrade kit pays for dividends almost immediately. If you try to find a decent pollen trap, you're going to be somewhere in the $90 to $120 range just for a pollen trap that works decent. And it's a separate piece of equipment that you're moving in and out of your colonies. What I like about these Apame bottoms, it has a beautiful built-in pollen trap. Like already, it's already built into the system, and it does a phenomenal job. You can see that tray in that photo there will be absolutely loaded full of pollen. You can pull that basket out and quickly sift and clean whatever is left, and it does it makes such clean pollen. What I like to do, I know folks who use these setups to sell pollen. I use it for personal use, and then we'll take that pollen and we'll put it into little jars, put it in the freezer, and then throughout the season, especially when we're in like really heavy go time, I'll have a spoonful of that pollen. I'll squirt some honey on a spoon, and I'll eat that, and that's just like nature's monster drink. For me, it's really cool. So the bottom board also has this built-in pollen trap, it's phenomenal. It's better than any other pollen trap that I've ever used, and it's already built into the system. When you don't want to use it, there's that removable pollen trap tray. You just slide that out, and then you'll see that little red plug on the left. You just slide that rascal in and close it off. It's super easy to clean, and it's a hybrid. It's somewhere between a solid bottom board and it's not really screened, but it is, I would say, semi-ventilated. And so we have zero problems with that for overwintering. And so that's just the bottom board. The top part has the dual feeder, which you can see I put a Hive Alive fondant in when I took the photo. Great little cubby to put pollen patties in, to put fondant, and then that other opening there is you open up both those little big top trays and can put a lot of liquid feed right on top of the colony. So on top of that, you have an insulated lid that goes over all of that too. Looks sharp. It's a neat, clean finish. It's a very high-end finish. It looks beautiful. And then to top it all off, if that couldn't get any better, what really makes this be a premium hive kit is we literally dialing it in, Brian.
It's dialed in.
Those kits of ours have the dual indicator dial on there, so you can track the year of the queen and also the status. What is going on in the colony? Are you queen right? Are you queenless? Is there a swarm cell? Is action needed? Right? You can take all your notes right from there. So when you take the very best box on the market, the very best wax dipping, and the best of everything, what you're looking at right there is literally the best of everything on the market all in one kit. Looks like right now Susie's got them on sale for just under $200. They're about $50 off. Yeah. What a beautiful collaboration between Apame, Queen Right Dial, Nature's Image, and Premier, because inside of that is also 10 Pura frames with double wax foundation. So you're loaded and ready to go.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for answering that question. That's a great job. Anyway, there you go. So that answers your question there. Let's see. Oops, did I miss?
Brian Lee dropped it. Hazard pay for letting my son and I hang out with you at the expo. What great guys, Brian Lee and Andrew Lee, super cool, good, just great guys. Want to thank them for all of their support. And Brian Lee specifically has been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the Bee Club, getting orders in and out and helping us collaborate with some more folks in Alabama. So Brian, we really do appreciate your efforts on that.
There was a question that I accidentally deleted. So it was basically, do I speak at bee conferences nearby or at bee clubs nearby? And yes, I do. If you
absolutely, Bruce,
call me, ask me, or email me, and we can get it arranged. Yep. I've spoken a few times, not very many, but I've spoken to it a couple of places. So I would love to, if you're close by, I would love to come and hang out with you and get to know some of your local beekeepers. Mark Bittinger asked, you're going to have copper dipped bottom boards, and I would also ask on top of that, Greg, we're gonna have lids as well.
Yep, we're gonna have lids, bottoms, and boxes.
Yeah, wow. You have to, just to make it match, man.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. That answers that question. Let's go one more question, and then let's go.
It's already been an hour and 16 minutes already, guys. Where does the night go?
2 more questions. Like I say, Brian, I'm 304 comments behind, so but hello from Philadelphia, newbie here. Just ordered 2 sets of copper dips from Greg. Looking forward to this journey. Thought I'd start. Any thoughts on when you will be able to start shipping?
Wow. Well, Clancy 9501, thank you so much for that order. Just like we mentioned there in the description on the website, that'll be shipping early spring. We're probably going to be right in that March time frame, right around there. But just like any other order, you'll get as soon as we print the label and start to get that shipped out, you'll get an email with the tracking info and can follow it right along. And as with any other order, if you have any questions or need some updates, you can always shoot us an email right from the order or at nature'simagefarm@gmail.com. We're happy to answer any questions. And again, thanks for your order. We're really pumped up about this product line. A lot of folks are too. So it's really exciting to see all the pre-orders come in. So thanks again.
Just a little comment on that. I would say one advantage, Clancy, that I think when you order boxes like this that are ready to go, even though it might be a little later in the, it might be a little bit of time before it gets there, you don't have to worry about putting it together, driving nails or staples. You don't have to worry about painting it or just preparing it. It's going to come in perfect shape and be ready just to stick bees into. And so that's one advantage to buying boxes that are good quality, that are already put together. You can it's a plug and play type of a situation. So I think I think you'll be extremely pleased with your product. One more thing here, and then we just turned into a Q&A. I love it. I love these Q&A sessions. But Greg, I really appreciate the super chat from you. Bee sting therapy or bee conference? I'm rolling with the bee sting therapy this time, Greg. That's 100% on my side. Unless you want to do something different, I'm gonna probably be out there getting stung by bees.
I haven't been stung, and it's been too long since I've gotten stung.
I have to make sure we go to the hives that still are a little bit spicy for you to be able to get stung.
I don't even know where gloves are.
This is a great question right here that a lot of people wonder, I think, this time of year, because it's kind of hot, a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler in most places. We're going to be warm enough to pop a few lids here soon, but it may get cold again. So RJM asks, how warm should it be to pop a lid and add some more sugar?
Depends if they're starving to death.
Yep. Yeah. It is. I'm looking right now, and my little calendar thing that I have tells me, now this isn't with the wind chill, it's 12 degrees. If I had to, exactly like what Greg said, if your colonies are practically starving out, if you're very intentional, I'm using some of Bruce's words too. If you're very intentional on what you need to do, it's like, well, they're going to starve out and die, or I can pop the lid and give them a chance. Yeah. So I go over all the time and check my fondant on them. I'll pop the lid, but it's very quick. I pop it, take a look, and I'm not sitting there, and you're not cracking frames. You're not cracking boxes. So when you're just taking the top off to take a look, I say no harm.
If it's like 30, 35 degrees, I personally have if I have to go through and do spot checks for fondant, and it's a nice sunny warm day, 30, 35 degrees is no problem. In the 40s, definitely no problem at all. I think everybody thinks that the bees are in this tight cluster. Like as soon as it gets below 50, like right now, the bees are definitely in a pretty tight cluster at -13. Like I don't know what it is outside right now. It's probably 5-6 degrees maybe. And they're going to be pretty tight, right? But when you get into the upper 20s and 30s, a lot of bees, you will start to see that just gentle mixing movement kind of going on. We're obviously not going in and busting up frames or moving boxes. But like if you're one of our folks who have our style lid, and you're cracking the lid, checking the fondant, slapping a new one on, closing the lid back again, like I personally don't worry about that a whole lot. As long as it's in mid 30s, no problem and up. That's me. What I try to avoid, though, however, is I try to avoid doing that knowing I'm going to have days of rain ahead, or the next day is going to be rain or something like that. I usually try to not have things open when I've got rain, just in case I don't put something back right. I don't need any water getting in there. But for the most part, I think folks mostly worry about breaking the propolis seal. And the bees glue things down and they close all that up. But guys, I mean, think about how much ratty equipment is out there every single year across the United States that no matter what is not sealed up. You know, it is drafty and there's air leaks and there's the whole 9 yards. So is it a valid point? Sure. You know, there is like, how much does that matter? I don't know. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but what matters the most is those bees have feed. And if they're coming off the heels of a very poor flow, late summer and fall, like we had here in Ohio, and they're already lean to begin with, and you're keeping them moving forward on fondant or sugar, hey, I would rather get in there and double check on that than to let it go and then them actually starve out. That's me.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I crack them up when it's pretty chilly, but just try not to really go in unless I detect a problem. Like if I go into a hive and it looks like it's sick or having issues, I wouldn't get in, actually probably break frames apart if it was, down that cold. But if it's 30s or 40s, you can, I actually have done that. I've actually just went through recently. It was 40, 50 degrees outside and was replacing fondant on all these colonies, and they do fine. That's not the big deal, but you don't want to stay them for a long time and just leave them opened up for a great length of time. But they're pretty resilient. They do pretty well.
This weekend we'll have 31, and I'm going to go over and check fondant. So
see, there you go.
Yep. Well, like you said, one of you guys said it depends on if they're what their situation is. So, and if you're just like he mentioned sugar, if you're just pouring some sugar in there, it takes even a shorter amount of time. But if you got a good cluster of bees, I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you only have 4 hives, if the patient, thinking in work terms.
Wow, the bad colony. If we're talking,
if I only have 4 hives, would it make sense to start a queen mating nuke for insurance during the season?
Why not? Yeah, take a little 5-framer, put it off on the side, and then when your other colonies start to get a little bit too thick, right, and they get that in between mode on, well, they're not quite ready for a super, but I don't want that box to go too long without being full. Go in there and yank out a frame of cat brood from one, another cat brood from another, a couple frames of food, and a fresh frame. Drop those in there, especially if you start seeing queen cells being made. Move a queen cell over, put some brood frames with clinging bees and some food. Put them in the shade, close them up for 1 to 3 days. Let them cruise. Absolutely. I'm a big fan. Doing that early in the year, getting as many extra and backup queens going as you can. Matter of fact, that was the premise of last night's talk. Is queen rearing the easy way? Everybody wants to get in and make queens, and they see all of us grafting and using incubators, and like it's definitely cool. It's awesome. I love it. But I challenge folks, and I've said it here a million times. If you need to make less than 30 queens a week, grafting's not for you. There are way easier and more efficient ways to create superior queens, letting the bees do all the work first until you need more than 20 queens a week, and you need them on a certain day, right? Up until that point, let's let the bees do the work. And that's when we start crowding things out, letting them put on those queen cells, robbing some frames of brood from colonies and some food, making those splits, creating a backup plan just in case. And then what's the worst to happen, right? You have to slap leather and spend more money on equipment to keep another colony booming and growing because you made a backup plan and you didn't need it. Hey, maybe you've got a bee buddy who needs a nuke, or you've got a bee buddy who needs a queen, or you get all the way late into the season and there's a stress point and something happens, or a queen slows down, or the list goes on and on. Man, just keep a backup queen or two cruising at all times and get to the very end of the season, because I guarantee you somebody will need it. Worst case scenario, you go into the wintertime with a smaller colony and roll the dice. No big deal.
Yeah. Hey, Brian. OH.
Did you guys hear that? Did he just say that?
I'm telling you what.
That's where Brian says roll tide.
I have to, because they won it all. I mean, I got props to those guys, man. They played a great game, and Notre Dame made it close, tough at the end, and played them close, but they ended up winning. So, Scott from Twin Creek Bees, thanks for the super chat. He says, "Go Buckeyes." I had to throw that in there and see what the response would be.
I don't think it was 10 minutes after that game said final, I was clicking submit order to get my shirt and hat.
Yeah, man, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. We've had a few of those down here, but you can enjoy it this year. You guys can enjoy it up there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Would you, Bruce? Would you think any less of me if I told you I didn't watch the game and didn't know that it was on, except for you guys texting?
That's why I said it to Brian, because I know you don't get too involved with that stuff. Yeah, I know you don't follow it too close, but
I like giving you a hard time about Alabama. I do enjoy that though.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm here for you to make fun of anytime you want. This year, I'm worthy of it because they were pretty bad this year. So, anyway, let's move on to Brian Lee. Man, that's awesome. Brian Lee, good friend from down here in Alabama, has become a tremendous friend of mine. He was up at the conference with his son Andrew, and Brian says, $50 super chat. Thanks so much. Hazard pay for letting my son and I hang out with you at the expo. Brian, we owe you money for that. That was entertaining, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We appreciate you bringing Andrew, and we appreciate Andrew for coming. And man, what a great kid and what a great family you guys have up there. We really appreciate it and being a part of the Stream Team family here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian, so much. And anyone who's met Brian just knows he's just he's just awesome. He's never met a stranger and just a lot of fun. And Andrew is just like a chip off the old block. He's just like his dad, and just a great time we had up there. Andrew did a trade up for Hives for Heroes. He started with a little sticker and he traded up to a wax melter, and they ended up donating the money for that wax melter to Hives for Heroes. So that was a great job, guys. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Deb Fortune, she is up here in Goshen, Alabama, just kind of west of Troy up here, a little ways up here, not too far from us, about an hour, probably northwest of us up here, a little ways, just due west of Troy up there. And she says, I'm not sure what the services are. Hold on, Deb, give us some details there. She said you might want to, for those interested in starting beekeeping, you may be interested in looking at the Alabama Cooperative Extension Services. I think they have some programs, maybe some classes and courses and so forth. That might be what she's referring to. So, thanks, Deb. Thanks for checking in. Lisa, our good friend Lisa, just Ozark, Alabama, about 20 miles north of me here. And anyone who's been involved in any of the beekeeping group chats or live chats, Grammy is a frequent part of this community, and we appreciate, she's always involved with all the different chats and all the different communities out there. We appreciate having her on here. She put a picture on the Alabama Friendly Beekeepers page this morning of her hives in the snow, and it was just the way they were set up there with everything was just beautiful. It was really cool. So thanks for the super chat, Grammy. She says, y'all the bomb. Boom. She is. So
wasn't it awesome? It was awesome having her and Deidre in the shenanigan central area, so close to the booth there. It's awesome watching folks, grow and kind of just, push themselves and stretch out, do something different, getting into the game. So that was pretty cool having them there for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Grammy and Deidre both. Let's see. Mike from Easy Ox, Mike's Bees. Appreciate the super chat, Mike. Great questions, great answers. We appreciate that, my friend. And I had a chance to spend quite a bit of time with him at the Bee Expo, and I learned a lot about his product. I saw a video or a picture today on one of the social media sites of someone that had, I don't know if it was a pallet of oxalic acid from somewhere. He got it before supposedly the tariffs happened, and was talking about how cheap he got it and everything. And it wasn't Mike's product. And I used to think that, as long as it's good, why not? As long as it's pure or whatever the percent is. But after talking to Mike, I think I'm going to try to use his product as much as I can in the future, because he really put a lot of time and effort into buying the best product possible, the most pure oxalic acid. And then he also puts it through a process once he gets it to make sure that it's pure, that it doesn't have any impurities in it. He kind of has a way to sift those kind of things out of it. And he's painstakingly tried to create a really good product and make sure everything is above board, legal. And he is one of, I think, Greg, am I right, 2 companies that is able to, quote unquote, legally sell oxalic acid for beekeepers. Is that correct in the nation?
Mike Hart, his family, his crew, Easy Ox is the only military owned and operated, made in the USA and approved product. Not only is it clean and the best, it's extremely affordable, which is a big deal. that was the limiting factor in the past. Folks would go with wood bleach, or they would go with whatever cheap alternative they could get because of the price. Now you don't have to roll the dice because of the price. There is an affordable option that is way cleaner, and there is a difference. I've seen it myself, and this is not a tit for tat to throw another product under the bus, but they are not all created equal. Just like vaporizers, OA vaporizers, not all of them are created equal. Wax tip boxes, they're definitely not all created equal. And oxalic acid, they're not all created equal. And what we had found is that there were some that had glycerin binders. You could smell almost a sugary sweet thing going on. Your pots in the OA units would get gummy and kind of get nasty on using different ones. But EasyOx is really clean. It's a beautifully clean product. I like it a lot. The InstantVaps and the Larrabee's corded units work great with it. I've used the tabs on the corded Larrabee's units, that have the blue cap. The tabs work great for that, little 1 gram dose tabs. And then for the InstantVap, we use the powder. It works beautifully. So for me, it's important. We've got to start putting our money where our mouth is. And I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it again. If we want to make America great again, we've got to make made in America great again. And what I appreciate what Mike, Art, and his family has done is they stepped up to the plate in a very big way to get this product approved and registered in all these different states to make sure that it's clean, it's safe, it's effective, and it's a great option for folks. So yes, we sell it, but let me tell you this: I used it for a very long time first. And was a big fan of it. So I'd highly encourage folks to check out EasyOx, oxalic acid, the tabs, or the powder.
Yeah, you can get it from you, Greg, from Larrabee's, from Foxhound, different companies, and then from Mike himself at Mike's Bees. So anyway, I'm impressed with him and what he represents, what his company represents, and just had a really good talk to him. And I understand things a lot better now than I did when it comes to the oxalic acid vapor. Once again, Deb Fortune here she's the one from up there in Goshen. She said, Sweet Heavenly Honey, that's the name of them, $10. Thanks so much for the super chat. From Goshen, Alabama, Walhalla Farms. I think they've just kind of gotten started with the bees recently. They've got just a few colonies, just a wonderful couple up there, just great people. And, just a lot of, I actually met them, and I may have met them before. I'm not sure if I have, but I met them. We had a little bee meeting up in Ozark at Lynn Hughes' place just a few days ago. Tyler Walker was there and spoke to us, and I met them at that. It was just awesome. We had a great time there. And let's see. Jeremy has a question for us. Greg, are you shipping mated queens this year?
Jeremy Lindsay, anything for you. For you, absolutely. We will be. We've done things a little different this year. It's an enormous blessing, and we thank God for it. But there is more demand for the number of queens than we can produce. So our queen queue looks a lot different now, where it's nearly a closed list, and it grandfathers in on all of our prior customers. When we work through those lists and we have extras, we'll make those available. We will take very few pre-orders on queens. You folks may see a little bit of that come online. We're also doubling down and focusing on higher quality proven queens and breeder queens. What we do is I think is unique, and it's special, and it makes an impact. It makes a difference in the genetic offerings for folks in their apiaries. So we want to be able to offer and put our time and attention to those queens that folks can use to also make their own queens or make queens to sell to their customer base. And so in doing so, we're going to have high quality, proven, open mated queens that are going to be available for folks that they can get into and they can start grafting from. And then probably not this year. I don't want to get the cart before the horse this year with offering inseminated queens, but that is definitely coming down the pipeline. That's going to be inevitable that we will be offering inseminated queens as well. But right now we're focusing on keeping the quality high. And because of that, folks appreciate that. And there's more demand than we can make queens for. But Jeremy Lindsay, you do so much for the community. You are such a tremendous help at the expo. Any of the guys like that, if you need queens, I will put you on my special list. That will it'll come out of my own coffers. But we'll definitely take care of you. But if you are interested on at least getting on the list for our queens, I would highly encourage you to go to our website, naturesimagefarm.com, click the About Us, and shoot us a message. Contact us, shoot a message and say, hey, love to get on the queen list. Let us know if you've got any extra availability, and we'll reach out. That's about the best way. Yeah, thanks, Brian. That's the best way to do it. That way we can flag it, we can track it, and we can respond quickly and effectively. We're small, guys. We can only raise, between 1,500 and 2,000 queens a year. And that takes an awful lot of effort. And I don't know that I want to do more than that right now. One thing that we will hopefully have a lot extra of is virgin queens. And so if there are folks who want to take the risk with virgins, we may have a lot of virgins available this year because we have just become so efficient with the grafting and that part of the queen rearing. We end up with more queens than we have places to put them, and that is a huge blessing. So that we're going to dial it in, Brian. We're just going to keep dialing it in. But anyways, if you're looking for virgins, if you're looking for mated queens or breeder queens, shoot us a message and let's have that conversation. At least get you in the queue to be contacted when there's more available.
Good stuff. Awesome, good stuff. I don't know if you guys have noticed any difference in my studio here, which is actually our guest bedroom. But you see anything behind my head there?
Yeah. Look at the honey wall.
Put the honey wall up there. My wife
that's the wall of honey gratitude. It looks like. I see a beautiful cutting board.
We bought the shelves a while back. My wife said, you ought to put those up on the wall and put the honey up on there that people give you. And I said, that's a great idea. So we bought them. And finally she was kind of like, she's like, the other day we had a little time. She's like, let's put those up. So we did. And then she got them arranged. Can't get everybody's honey up there. Well, we got a lot of it. And we'll probably change it out some as time goes on. But I need to get some LED strips kind of up there to light up a little bit. And it'd be kind of pretty up there behind me. So I had a sign up there that said, be our guest up there in the back, but it was always behind my head. So you can kind of see them up behind my head there. But anyway, so yeah, I just trying to make a few improvements on the studio here, which once again is our guest bedroom. So Brian, did you see my text there?
You got it already done, buddy.
Can you pull that up? I want to announce something we're going to be doing the next time it rolls around onto my channel here on the live chat, and then we'll move on and maybe start to. Okay. This is the video right here I did a while back. I'd encourage you to go watch it. Comparing the InstantVap, all three of the units that I have. Brian, can you guys scroll through it just a little bit and get to the point to where that is the InstantVap light for those who are not familiar with it. Scroll through the part where I'm actually about to test them there. It's on a little further.
Yeah, it is.
It's sitting on the back of that trailer.
That's
it right there. Is that it? Kind of go back a little further, whereas they're just kind of sitting there and just kind of pause it.
There we go.
So right here, and I explain all this in the video. I'd encourage you to go back in the channel and watch this. But you have on the far on the top right there, you have the traditional InstantVap. In the middle, you have the InstantVap Compact, and on the bottom, you have the InstantVap Lite. And play just that little section right there, so we can kind of see how they work real quick. So I'm just popping them, and they go. Those are three incredible machines right there. I personally, I really am impressed with all of them. That was my very first time ever trying the InstantVap Lite out at all. The other two I've been using. I'll continue to use those in my operation. I use them. They are very efficient. You get two of them going at the same time. You can get through a lot of colonies at the same time. However, that exact InstantVap Lite there, the one on this end, you see how they are very effective. They're very similar in strength. The InstantVap Lite is more affordable. And the recovery time on it is what I've learned. It takes a little bit longer than the others, but I'm going to give that thing away. That exact unit right there.
Wow. You're going to sign it? You have to sign it, Bruce.
I might do that, Greg. if someone wants to. But
you got to do it in a video.
We will, but it's going to do that exact unit right there that we used for the video. I'm going to be giving that thing away on my next live chat that we do with the stream team. So probably what, 3 weeks from now, maybe whenever it is, 3 or 4 weeks from now.
3 weeks.
We're gonna give that thing away. So just keep that in mind. Tell your friends, or don't tell your friends, whatever you want to do. But that's going to be a giveaway we'll do next time. That is how much is that? Is it like $299? What's the value on that thing, Greg? About $299 or something like that. It's a tremendous unit. Keep in mind it is a DeWalt version, so you'll need to have DeWalt batteries, I think, to use it. But it would be anyway. It's going to be a pretty good giveaway that I want to give. Rob actually sent me that thing to try out, and I did. I just don't really need that particular one because I can't do 3 at the same time.
You know what would make that better?
What's that?
What would make that better is if we dress that thing up a little bit. I'm thinking I'm gonna be down in your neck of the woods Saturday. Like I might actually get to see this legendary piece of equipment. What if we slapped like a stream team sticker or something on there first, right? Just stream team it up some before it goes down the road.
Bring it. Brian, why don't you come on the road trip with him? That would be a blast.
Come on, Cooper.
I wish I could.
Oh, that would be so much fun. Man, you know what, Greg? This is what's crazy. You've been saying I'm coming like this coming week, next week. You've been saying Saturday, Friday, whatever. And I'm just sitting here thinking, just kind of mind. And I'm like, you know what? That is literally
2 weeks away.
No, it's not even 2 weeks. Like a week and a half. Like less than a half. Like 10 days. Like 9 days away.
I should probably build your boxes then, huh? I got something really cool. For your boxes. Really cool.
I'm excited about it.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. So great. The likes of which have never been seen. Everyone's gonna tell you how great your boxes are, Bruce. Everyone's gonna say it. Everyone.
It's gonna be a huge improvement.
Now,
huge.
My wife got me this, so it has to be true.
Best husband ever.
Best husband ever.
See, you're really, really great husband. Very special, very handsome, really terrific. Other husbands, losers, total disasters. Everyone agrees with me. You're the best, believe me.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
Oh, that's terrific.
We could all do the dance.
It's really great.
We all do that.
We'll have to learn it. There it is. Brian's got it.
When the NFL players are doing it, it's kind of cool. It's a cool thing.
Huge. We're gonna have fun, Bruce. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be cool. It'll be really cool. We can probably even get a couple videos out of it. Maybe we'll see what happens. But it's just gonna be awesome to be able to hang out and for the community and for those who have ordered products. I'd love for you to meet us. I told my brother. We're going to have the skid steer there, I think, ready to unload the forks. And I've got to get up there this weekend and straighten up a little bit because it's a mess up there.
We won't look.
Yeah, you will because you can't help it because it's right there.
I believe me. If you saw my place.
I know. No judging. I know what people say when they won't judge. But anyway, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. So, Brian, we already talked a little bit about what you're going to do in the next coming up, what your kind of goals are this year. Greg, would you have a few comments on that? And then we'll kind of try to wrap this thing up here before long.
My goals this year is to not let me get the best of me. Try to be more. Every year I get more responsible with my resources. And what I mean by that is I know all the things that we're capable of. I know what the bees are capable of. And sometimes a lot of us entrepreneurs, it's an all-in kind of a thing, and it works, but there's a great sacrifice in doing that, in time and risk, and sometimes things don't go the way that you want them to. What I'm really looking forward to this year is continuing to dial in our genetics. See what I did there, Brian? Yeah, dial in the genetics. We've got some interesting combination of sets of genetics here that I'm starting to see some of the fruits of the labor. So another year of monitoring those, getting several hundred more daughters out to see if I see what I think I'm seeing. Just continue to really buckle down and continue to refine our line here. I've got zero interest of bringing any outside stock in, and I don't know that I have no immediate plans in the future unless I'm doing a trial or something out in a separate quarantine or trial yard. I'm not interested in bringing in any outside stock. And what I've found is, and we actually had a great conversation with Corey Stevens about this at the Expo, and I kind of I've been shy about talking about my VSH experience, but I had a conversation with him about that. That I'm looking forward to that conversation to kind of come out, and it's actually quite shocking. If folks who are like deep embedded into SMR and VSH and hygiene, and the list goes on, some of these things may not come as quite a shock, but folks who maybe aren't, or they think the grass is greener on the other side, this is where a lot of this is. Some new information that is a little shocking to hear. And so I had a great talk with Corey just about that. This year, I'm really doubling down on. We are seeing what our stock does, and we've now seen it for so many years in a row, and we're seeing it at hundreds of queens at a time. So I'm looking forward to just continue to refine that line. We're going to probably sell, God willing, as long as the winter continues to stay cold and not go warm, wet, warm, wet, warm, wet. As long as we continue with our overwinter success and have the stock to work with again in the spring, we may turn some more nukes loose than we had last year. I'm looking forward to keeping the queens under 2,000 this year, with the exception of maybe virgins or selling 500 or 600 extra queen cells. But we're looking to I guess what I'm trying to say, Bruce, is we're trying to manage our growth a little bit tighter, be a little bit more conservative with growth this year. I'm not really as concerned with 40% or 50% or doubling. I'm actually looking to grow very little in a lot of these ways, but to tighten up the program, tighten up some things around the ship here, do better in some of the other areas, so we can do better in these other areas that we want to grow in that may not be specifically bee breeding related, but has to do with the business. And so there's so many different facets to it. It's not just about raising some good queens or delivering some packages, or like there are many layers that make this business work. So I'm looking forward to kind of tuning in to those things and finding where those needs are and becoming more efficient in a lot more other ways to make the whole as a whole more efficient and create more opportunities. That's what I'm looking forward to. And the near future is, seeing the folks up here in Wisconsin this week at the Midwest Honeybee Expo. Can't wait to see everybody up there. I'm pumped up about having this conversation with Michael Bush, Ian Stepler, and James Lee. Treat or not to treat, is that even a question, an honest look from all sides? Just an open, non-judgmental, non-confrontational conversation where we can explore the chinks in our own armors and talk about that, throw that around, better understand everyone's perspective, because there is no right way or wrong way. There's the way that works for you, your bees, and your context. And so that's the conversation I'm pumped up about. I can't wait to see the folks in St. Louis at the EMBA conference. And then again, seeing folks at the Tri-County here in Ohio, the Medina Beekeepers Club, and the list goes on. So many great opportunities. I think I love bees, guys, and I love the business, but I love people. I love spending time with people and having that fulfillment that we're making a difference in somebody else's life. That's what pumps me up. Even when there's ice all over the ground, even when I'm backing up a semi a couple days ago and I'm giving them the signals there and I'm walking backwards here and I'm not looking and like a big dummy. Like I mean, folks don't see, like when they just see us on the screen, they don't know. Like, folks say, wow, you're bigger in real life. I didn't know you were that tall, or so imagine a 6'2", 275-pound guy, right? And I'm backing up a semi. I'm not looking where I'm going, and I slip, and I fall so hard on the ice, and I I tucked my arm in and I fell right on my ribs, and I heard crack, and it knocked the wind right out of me. And my first thought was, Lord, I ain't got time for this. Like I can't, I don't have time for a broken rib. And so I can't breathe. Right. And the truck driver's, are you okay? And I'm getting up, I'm standing up, and I'm thinking, what in the world is that cracking sound? Get the semi out of here. Susie pulls in. She sees something's wrong on my face. I get into the shop. I'm just starting to catch my breath again. And I said, Suze, something cracked. I don't know what it is. Well, I felt something in my little zipper pocket of my barn jacket. I open it up. A Sharpie marker and a shotgun shell. A shotgun shell, right? Those things crack together when they hit the ice, and that was that cracking sound. Man, I was so happy to see that. But anyways, short story long, where is this going? I don't have any idea, but we're in a good place. We're God number 1, family number 2, the bee business number 3. No matter in all things, that's the direction everything continues to work out, and we're so thankful and grateful for that. Bruce, I don't know where I was going with that.
That's good. That was a good segue. I thought you were going to say you had a Queen-Right dial that broke and cracked in your pocket, but
I know that's what I was waiting for.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, I really, after looking at my year in 2024, last year went well for me overall. I started off the year with a lot of problems in 2024 with losing all those colonies up in Ozark. But the truth is, I learned a lot from that whole experience. I was really trying to mellow those bees out with those genetics. I brought a lot of queens in late in the summer that were supposed to do that, but I just didn't give them much of a chance to survive, and I lost a lot of colonies up there. But it kind of allowed me to move in a different direction. I was able to make some splits early in the spring, which I'm going to try to duplicate this year. Hopefully when those queens get here, the middle of February, it won't be like it was the last couple of days. So we'll see how that goes. But, it's risky to do that here because the weather can be cold or okay. It'll probably be okay. I hope it will be. But so I've got some plans. I'm going to try and kind of mimic a little bit, duplicate what I did last year, and maybe change a few things around. Greg, you and I have talked about a few things that we may be looking at, but I'm super excited to get the equipment from you in a few days, Greg, and to meet some of the folks who are going to be coming down to the farm and kind of hanging out with and getting to know and maybe meet some new people and just kind of have a good time with that. But that's my goal is, the next thing I got coming up is the splits, and then the next thing I guess is the boxes being delivered. I look forward to incorporating those boxes into my operation, and I'm just stoked to get rid of some of the old rotten ones I have, and to just to have some boxes that are going to last me the rest of my beekeeping career. I wanted to, before we close, Brian, did you have anything else you'd like to bring up? I know we talked about your future plans here the next few weeks already, but is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't have anything. I will soon. When the weather breaks up here, then I'll start getting into some things, but that'll be coming up. I would probably think the next 2 weeks or so I'll start cleaning up my room over there and just kind of getting a feel for how many stands do I got to build and all that type of stuff, because what I want to try and have done is come say April 1st, have every stand in place, have everything there and set and ready. That way I'm not last minute like, oh man, I need to, I got to go drive down to Greg's, or I got to go to Home Depot and grab some boards and make some more stands, things like that. So I want to have a plan and run with the plan. So
that's always good. That's always a good plan.
Yeah.
Having plans, a good plan. Yeah, probably mostly.
I wanted to kind of, in closing here, I know a lot of people who dropped off. It's getting kind of late, but we've mentioned this quote before. It's probably been a couple of years ago, but it's a quote that I just thought of for some reason. And I think is very, very applicable just in everything in life, honestly. But in beekeeping, it also is applicable. You think about all the different graphs and things we look at. What's that, the Dunning-Kruger, what's that graph called? And all those things and all the things that beekeepers go through and people go through in life in general. But Ralph Waldo Emerson said the following: that which we persist in doing becomes easier to do. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but that our power to do has increased. And what I'm finding is, in life, I've learned that lesson. It applies to everything, but it does apply to beekeeping as well. It seems so complicated and difficult at first, but as we continue to persist and so to speak, strengthen our beekeeping abilities and muscles, so to speak, for lack of a better term, it becomes easier. Not that the nature of it has changed; it's just that we become better able to manage them and become better beekeepers and better at those things that we do. Likewise, I think individually as people, the same applies as we whether it's through bees or whether it's through church, whether it's through whatever organization or our jobs, we have the opportunity to become better at developing our own community and network of people and friends. And Greg, you mentioned years ago, and we've kind of adopted this as our mantra, that that the bees are the conduit to the people. Mm-hmm. I've used that term many times in things that I've spoken, and I think we've kind of stolen that from you, Greg. It's a part of the stream team here. That's just what it is, and people are really what it all people are really what it's all about. The bees obviously are the conduit to the people, and it's all the people in the chat here. We had almost 200 people. I'm not sure if we quite hit 200 tonight. We were close to that earlier, and all these folks in here, this community it continues to just amaze me. We got to meet so many at the conference, and it's just, I love this thing that we do. It's sometimes it's a little bit, I'm a little tired, but one thing I wanted to mention, Greg, before we got off, you just seem more refreshed right now. You don't seem to be quite as tired. I noticed that at the conference a little bit. You just seem to be a little less stressed out. I'm sure internally you were stressed out some, but you just seem to be a little bit more refreshed and kind of almost like you're kind of in a situation where you're in a good place right now. You're not, almost kind of like your direction as far as the beekeeping thing is beginning to take form, maybe a little bit more than it has in the past. And you just seem to be in a really good place right now. So with that, I'm going to let you go ahead and maybe comment on that a little bit, Greg, and then close this thing out for us.
Yeah. Folks who have seen us at the prior conferences and this conference, it's not that it's not that our heart wasn't in the right place or that we didn't lean or trust in God for the direction of our family. But to throw it back to the bee analogy, is when we decided to make a choice to be intentional about it, to get serious, to literally, for lack of better words, to get our house in order. When we made that effort and to step up in a much bigger way, in a more meaningful way of putting God first, not just thinking we want to or we should, but putting God first, and then our family, and then the bees and the business. When we really started to do that, things really started to just fall in place for us. God has a plan for all of us and all of our lives. And when we acknowledge that and we put him first, it's amazing how much simpler everything gets. Doesn't mean there's not going to be hard times. Doesn't mean that we're not going to be in the valley, that we don't have trouble to work through. Because believe me, we've had a lot of we've had more challenges this year than we have ever had. But what we have had is peace, in knowing that there is a plan for us and our family, and that the simple answer and the simple formula is to put God first, then our family, and then our bee business all the time. That's the order, no matter what. When we do that, there is a peace that passes all understanding, no matter what we're going through, that we are equipped to work through it, to step through it, and we're on the other side. And because of that, we have a peace like that we've never known. Our business has grown in leaps and bounds in ways that we would have never imagined. So you're right. When that's the life we're leading and the life we're living, it's evident. It's on our face. It's on our heart. It's comes out of the words that we say. So you're right. So it's an important thing. I often, as a kid, some of my fondest memories, my grandpa was, like I've said it a million times, an old country preacher. But some of my most favorite moments with my grandpa were not necessarily from the pulpit. They were driving in the truck, or they were out camping, or they were sitting drinking a cup of coffee in the living room. Right? It was those times where grandpa was imparting that wisdom, right? And you have those kind of conversations and you have those talks. And I find myself doing the same thing with my kids. And so we're just very thankful and grateful for where we're at in life right now. Not a level of achievement, not leveling up in some video game, but we're at a place that is the consequence of our actions is joy and happiness. And that's simple. It's God first, family, then the bees. So if you're listening to this, we want to thank you for spending time with us. Everyone who stopped by the booth to say hi, to get selfies, to take videos, to share your story, to share your testimony with us. That was huge. Those were special moments. We won't ever forget them. We want to thank you for that. Thanks so much for tuning into Bruce's channel tonight for the stream team. Next week, guys, whose channel is it on?
Oh yeah,
Brian's.
Right.
Oh, it's on mine. Yeah. Okay. So I'm pretty bad about some of these kind of things, but our channel hit 10,000. It was a beautiful thing. We talked about it. Yeah. Thank you guys for all that. The coolest thing in the world is it hit 10K on. If there was one video that I wanted the entire world to see and make a difference, it was the video with Chris Werner. And when that video with Chris Werner went out, the traction hit. We hit 10K, and that's a very big deal for us. We've never done like the whatever you call that, the channel milestone thing. It's awesome. It's cool for folks that have done that. We've never really done that before. If I had my ducks in a row, we would maybe try to do some giveaways and try to have a big to do about the 10K. But I want you, whether we do that or not, I just want everyone to know how much that we appreciate you guys. You're the reason that we've got to where we're at, because you watch, you like, you subscribe, you drop comments, and that's huge. We see that. It makes a difference. So I just want to say thanks. I guess we'll see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. on the Nature's Image Farm YouTube channel. Next week's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Can't wait to see you, Bruce, and all the folks down there. And until next time, we want to remind you to be the lighthouse and be the change you want to see in this world. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.